Hi, bird friends. My name is Zeb, and you are watching Blue Planet Pets. Today I'm taking you to Inverness, Florida to learn about Ziggy's Haven Bird Sanctuary and Rescue, to meet their volunteers, hear their stories, and discover all the ways Ziggy's helps parrots and the people that love them.
I am Laura Meadows, and I am the director at Ziggy's Haven Bird Sanctuary, and I've been with Ziggy's for about 8 years. I came to Ziggy's because I needed to find a solution for my screaming, hateful umbrella cockatoo that wanted to eat my husband.
My name is Grace Cottrell, and I've been volunteering at Ziggy's for over 7 years.
I'm Angela Burton, and I'm a volunteer at Ziggy's Parrot Haven in Inverness.
My name is Lenny. I have been living in Florida for going on 10 years. I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD a year and a half ago. And that's been a really defining point of my life to really focus on trying to find what makes me happy and the things that I enjoy spending time around, which has been Ziggy's a lot, actually, has been a big part of, I would say, mental health and finding a happier point in my life.
So Ziggy's is a rescue as well as a sanctuary, which is a little different because some people don't understand how sanctuary works. Could you explain briefly how sanctuary works here?
Yes. So in sanctuary, if the owners prefer that the bird be sanctuaried, as in stay here on the property for the rest of its life, then it's different than a surrender to adopt program bird. So the sanctuary birds are housed, the majority of them, in the outdoor aviaries that you see here around the property. We try to match them up with like species, or even if they're different species, just where they'll all get along well. And the bird ends up staying here for life. If it has a bonded partner, then it stays with that partner. We don't separate bonded pairs. We have had some of our birds here for almost 20 years. And so sanctuary is a true gonna stay here for the rest of its natural life sort of situation.
So tell me, how did you get to Ziggy's?
All right, well, I lived in Michigan, and me and my husband came down here seasonal for about 14 years. Never knew about this place. And unfortunately, my husband got sick and passed away in 2020. And so I sold everything in Michigan. But I found this place online, and I called them up, and I think it was Grace, and I said, "Do you guys take volunteers?" And they said, "Oh yeah." And so when I came down here, I came in, met everybody, and been here ever since.
Nice.
2 to 3 days a week.
How long has that been?
Oh, it's been since 2020.
Okay.
Well, the end of 2020, so probably 21, January 21.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's it. It really saved me because I was getting ready to go to grief counseling, and I found this place instead. And I say the birds saved me, and I saved a couple birds.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how Ziggy's started.
Okay. Ziggy's was founded by the Wass family back in 2003. Wendy wanted a Beretta bird. She did not even know what they were called. And her husband called her up one day and says, "Hey, do you still want a cockatoo?" And she's like, "What's a cockatoo?" Didn't know that they were called cockatoos. He bought Ziggy and Lizzie at a yard sale, and from there, Ziggy's was born. The birds went everywhere with them. They did family vacations together, grocery shopping, Home Depot, Lowe's, like the birds went everywhere. And people kept asking them, "Hey, do you want to take my bird?" Which to Wendy made no sense at all, because these birds were part of the family. They were members of the family. So how could you possibly spend all this money buying a bird and getting a cage and then wanting to just give it up? And the family realized that people didn't know what they were getting into, that they didn't understand the complexity of the parrots and their special needs and the destructive behavior being part of what they are as cockatoos particularly. So when Ziggy passed away due to a intermittent intestinal blockage, they were looking for a friend for Lizzie. And they were going to look at breeders, and their daughter talked them into looking at rescues, and they didn't even know rescues existed back then. So after doing a whole bunch of research, Tanya talked her parents into starting Ziggy's Haven Parrot Rescue. And it was pretty amazing that this 15-year-old girl's dream of saving everything and helping people and helping animals is still going on here today. The unfortunate part of the story is Tanya passed away at 17 years old in a car accident. And she was going to be the future of Ziggy's. She was going to be that next generation that was going to run this place, get her vet degree, have a life, and then come back in when she hit 30 or 40 years old and take over. And so it was a little bit of a struggle for a little while. The family wasn't sure exactly what direction they were going to go. And they did decide to keep Ziggy's open as an adoption and sanctuary center. And 23 years later, here we are. We're still going strong. We've recently, in the last 5 years, moved to the property that we're on now, which is 12 acres, and it's the birds' forever home. They actually own it, which is fantastic, and it's going really well. We're really, really happy with the progress. The biggest tenet at Ziggy's is to make sure that the birds come first in all our decisions, because they can't just get up, walk to the refrigerator and open the door and pick what they want for dinner. We want to really make sure that we take care of them to the best of our ability.
My name is Grace Cottrell, and I've been volunteering at Ziggy's for over 7 years.
So 7 years, you look very young. Tell me a little bit more about what that story looks like.
Yeah, I came to Ziggy's on my 10th birthday because my parents were trying to deter me from getting a pet parrot. So they brought me here hoping that I wouldn't want one anymore because I would see how loud they were and how messy they were. But I ended up staying for 7 years, and I'm 17 now. So
it didn't work out for them.
No, didn't work out in their favor. I have 6 birds now at home.
So I hear that you had a certain idea of what you wanted when you got here.
Yes, I specifically wanted a turquoise green cheek conure, and I wanted a baby from a breeder. My mom, she didn't want me to get a breeder animal. We've always rescued dogs, everything. So she looked up local parrot rescues in the area, and we found Ziggy's, and I came here and I rescued a green cheek conure, and I love him. He's my first bird, and he's awesome.
Awesome. So you said you have 6 birds.
Yes.
If you had a piece of advice for anybody that wants to get a bird that's your age, what would you say?
I would say you have to do a ton of research. Like, I did so much research. I watched so many YouTube videos, so much research, and I did my research before I talked to my parents, and then I went and got hands-on experience. But honestly, the best advice I could give is just to wait, because it's a little tricky having to go through college and work and school while having a parrot, and it is definitely a lifetime commitment. So
It's true. That's a good point. How did you feel when you got macaws? Were you intimidated?
So macaws were, I just had conures up until that point, so the macaws were a little scary. My first macaw was very mellow. Her name's Buffy. She's 15. She's very mellow, very sweet. But Leo was a 3-year-old when I got him, and that was a new experience. Very loud, very messy. He's so loud. Macaws are a lot.
Do you have another job?
Yeah, I'm a cleaner. I'm a house cleaner, and I clean businesses. So the experience I got from Ziggy's helped out a lot with that, because I already kind of knew how to clean messes. I don't get grossed out by anything, and I love cleaning. So.
And how much of your income goes towards taking care of your birds?
Most of it. A lot of my income goes towards bird food, cages, toys, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah.
It doesn't change.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the adoption process.
The adoption process here at Ziggy's, we have anywhere from 30 to 60 adoptable birds at any given time. The adoption center is our main building, and we do it differently than a pet store. Every rescue has its own criteria. The criteria that we use today may be different than it was 6 months or a year or 5 years ago. Right now, what we do is you have to spend face-to-face time with the birds, because the birds have already been disrupted so much. We don't want them to go home with a stranger. You may be the only consistency for that transition from the sanctuary or adoption center to your home, and we want the bird to know the people that it's going home with. You can't walk in here and say, hey, I want that African gray, and walk out the door with it the same day. If that African gray doesn't pick you, if it doesn't engage with you and want to be with you, we're not going to adopt it out to you. And that says more about the bird and its preferences and how we honor that versus, you know, we're just looking for the check to take a bird and get them out of the facility. We really want them to have these forever homes and these good connections with the adopters. So we've had some folks that have had really great experiences with that. You can end up volunteering anywhere between 15, 20 hours to up to 40. Not looking for, you know, free labor. We're looking for a connection with the bird and to be able to educate the owners on what it takes to take care of these animals.
So as a neurodivergent person yourself, how has your experience been with some of the other volunteers?
It's been really good to see the younger volunteers, a lot of the kids that come through that are neurodivergent, be able to interact with these birds and find a little bit of joy early on in their life, something that I think that I really would have enjoyed finding much sooner in my life. And I hope that they find a niche that they feel comfortable in and something that they enjoy doing now at this point in their life so they can spend the rest of their life doing things like that.
Nice. So out of all the experiences you've had as a volunteer here at Ziggy's, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part has been getting to know the birds. I came in thinking that I wanted to adopt a bird eventually and realizing that they have personalities. They get to know people, they choose who they like to spend time with, they enjoy spending time with the ones that they care about. They're happy to see you when you come back. It's been really it's been life-altering, really, to spend time with them. That's been my favorite part.
So aside from adopting and being a sanctuary, what other services does Ziggy's provide?
So we have a full-service boarding area that we have folks come and bring their birds if they are traveling out of town, emergency hospital visits, or just general vacations. Boarding is relatively inexpensive and it's a dedicated space strictly for boarding birds. We trim wings, nails, and mild beak issues. Any beak that comes in, we need to make sure the bird has seen a vet because usually a beak overgrowth is something that is a medical condition. So we do grooming on-site as well as off-site. We do pressure washing cages in your home. We have a whole system we bring out with us. We work with 4-H, Girl Scouts, school groups. We have a summer camp program. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got our food pantry, which is if you cannot afford to feed your bird and you're looking at surrendering it, we want you to keep your bird. We want you to keep that company in your house. So we'll actually supply bird food for you to help you maintain them in your own house. That way we don't have more animals entering the shelter system when they have a perfectly good home.
So if somebody's not located in Central Florida to visit you or be a volunteer, how else can they help? What do you need?
There's a lot of different ways that folks can help, and it's really simple little things. One of the biggest things that we're pushing this year is just becoming a $20 a month sponsor. We do have specific aviaries you can sponsor, or specific birds, or just a general donation. And what that does, that $20 a month from you, which is $5 a week, it doesn't sound like a lot on your end, but if every group that came to Ziggy's, if one person in that group would donate and become a monthly sponsor, we'd never have to fundraise again. So the monthly donor program is a big one. The other thing is share us on social media, like our Facebook, like our Instagram. Those things help us get the word out a little bit more. You don't have to be here to post or say you like something or even a video. You can share our information. We do have a Amazon wish list. We have our Facebook page and our website. We have information where there's donations that we could use. Obviously, monetary donations are the easiest for us to accept, but it could be a gift card. You could put money down on our vet bill, which is never ending. Or just sharing that you like us, that you saw us, that you enjoyed something, little things that you can share that would just help get the word out about who we are and what we do.